When we think about retirement, a lot of stuff comes up. A lot of questions, and let's be honest, a lot of worries. Probably the biggest one for so many of us is just, will my money last? Today, we're going to demystify one tool that's built to tackle that exact fear head-on. So let's dive right in.
This is it, right? This is the question that can really keep you up at night. You work your whole life, you save, you build that nest egg, but how do you know it's going to be enough, especially when the future is so unpredictable? This isn't just a numbers question, it's really about feeling secure, about having peace of mind.
And it's totally normal to feel that way. When you see the market going on a wild roller coaster ride, it can feel like all your careful plans are just out of your control. That uncertainty is a huge source of stress for anyone getting close to retirement. But what if there was a way to put up a guardrail against all that volatility?
Well, that's where having a kind of financial safety net becomes so important. And we're about to look at a very specific feature that's designed to give you exactly that, some real stability no matter what the market decides to do.
Okay, so it's called a Guaranteed Minimum Income Benefit, or GMIB for short. Now, this is a feature you can add to certain annuities. And an annuity is basically a contract you make with an insurance company. You pay them, and they promise to pay you back with regular payments later on. But the most important part is right there in the name. It's a guarantee that you'll get a minimum amount of income for life, even if your investments take a nosedive.
So, let's unpack that a little. First, you've got the guaranteed income stream we just talked about. That's the core promise, right? Then there's something called an income deferral period. This is really just a waiting period, a set amount of time where your money gets to grow before you start taking payments. And finally, there's usually some flexibility and different options, so you can kind of tweak it to fit your own retirement vision.
All right, so that's the what. But what about the how? How does this thing actually work in practice? Let's get into the nuts and bolts.
At its heart, you can think of a GMIB as a promise. The insurance company promises you a minimum income. But, and this is the cool part, it's a floor, not a ceiling. If your investments do really well, your income can actually go up. So let's say your guaranteed floor is $2,000 a month. In a great year for the market, maybe that payment bumps up to $2,200. The guarantee is just your safety net.
So you can really picture it as a pretty simple three-step journey. Step 1, you invest your initial chunk of money, your principal. Step 2, you just let it sit and hopefully grow during that deferral period we mentioned. That could be a few years. And finally, step 3, when you're ready, you flip the switch and start getting that guaranteed income stream for the rest of your life. This quote really nails it. A GMIB is all about building a wall, a barrier between your essential retirement income and the chaos of the market. So even if there's a big economic downturn, this feature is designed to make sure your income keeps flowing just like it was promised.
Now, if you've been looking into this stuff, you've probably heard of other benefits that sound kind of similar. The whole alphabet soup of financial terms can get super confusing, so let's clear up one of the most common mix-ups right now.
Okay, pay attention here because this is a really critical difference. A GMIB guarantees a stream of income, almost like creating your own personal pension. A GMWB, on the other hand, a guaranteed minimum withdrawal benefit, guarantees you can withdraw a certain percentage of your original investment every year, even if your account balance drops. See the difference? One's about creating a paycheck, the other's about accessing your money. One little word, but it makes a huge difference.
So, after all that, what's the bottom line? What's the big picture takeaway you should have from all this?
Well, it really all boils down to a classic trade-off. The benefit is super clear. You get stable, predictable income and that wonderful feeling of security. But of course, that guarantee isn't free. The trade-offs you have to consider usually involve things like reduced liquidity, meaning your money is a bit more tied up, and also potentially lower returns than if you were just invested directly in the market without that safety net.
And that's exactly why there is no single right answer here. For someone who values that predictability more than anything else, maybe somebody who's just 5 years away from retirement, this kind of guarantee could look incredibly appealing. But for someone else, it might feel way too restrictive. It's a deeply personal decision, not a one-size-fits-all solution.
So I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. When you really picture your retirement, what brings you more comfort? Is it the idea of having the potential for higher growth, even if that comes with some risk? Or is it the absolute certainty of a predictable paycheck you know you can count on month in and month out? Your answer to that question, that's the real first step in figuring out your own path forward.